Has anybody had enough zucchinis yet? These darn things just keep on coming. But this isn't about zucchinis. It's about taking and going out in the garden and taking a look at my peppers and making some sandwiches up. Yesterday we got rain. The first rain we've had in quite a while. We got about 1.5 inches there, you can see. And that's more than we've had in the last 10 weeks. So the garden is really happy today. Everything's, really looking healthy and doing good, and a little bit overcast, and going out to pick some peppers. So I figured I'd make a video showing all my different peppers. So we're going to go down the row, and this is the first bin here, is California Wonders. Now, they're just basically a big bell pepper. They will turn red if left long enough, and I've already eaten the biggest ones out of here, so I'm just going to pick a little bit smaller one and show you kind of what they look like. They'll get to be 2-3 times that size. And you can see the plants are just starting to get them on. They had some earlier, and then they had a lot of buds, but that real hot weather that we had in sunshine caused them to drop quite a few of the buds, and now they're really just starting to catch up again. You can see, and they're starting. Another couple weeks, we'll have a whole ton of them. And then we're going to move down to the next bin, and this is actually one of my favorites. It's the jalapenos, and these are the heatless jalapenos. And of course, I just grabbed one with damage to it for the first one that I pick. But these actually have a really great jalapeno flavor with zero heat for us people that don't like heat. And there's just hundreds of these on each plant. It's they're really starting to come in now, and they're really enjoying this heat and dry and stuff. So we've been watering every night for the last 2 months just to keep these things growing. Next bin down are the Cubanellis, and we've been eating these for a couple weeks now. They're good. Actually, they're a real good frying pepper, and they're good for like sausage and pepper sandwiches and stuff. And if you leave them long enough, they will start turning reddish in the end. And actually, these plants, you can see, the plants are just really, really heavy with them, and they're all pretty good size. So, we're going to start using more and more of these as we go along now. And then we're going to go back down. The next bin has 2 different types in. The ones in the front here, the short ones, are the habanadas. And they come in a little bit later than the other peppers. And they're basically a heatless habanero. And we just love these things pickled. We eat them on sandwiches all the time. They're great pickling. And then the ones in the back there, the taller plants, are Jimmy Nardello. And they're a pimiento type pepper. And these things will get, right now they're green, there's a ton of them, but they really haven't started turning red yet. But they get like a real fiery red, and they are just so super sweet. There's one that started turning, but these are just, they do become an extremely sweet pepper. And you can see there's, the habanadas are just starting to come in, and these Jimmy Nardellos, they're just, the plants are full, and we're just waiting for them to start turning red before we use a lot of them. And then the next bin down is the red Belgiums, and these are one of the earliest red peppers that we plant, and they're another, sweet red pepper, and they're a smaller pepper, you can see, about that big, and they will get like a real dark red in another couple days or so. But, that's what they look like, and they're a real good eating pepper also. And they do grow facing up for some reason. And they're, same thing. The plants are all doing really good. They're enjoying the heat. They do have some sun damage and, a little bit of stuff like that, but peppers really need a little bit of shade, I think. Then the next bin down is mixed also. The front ones here are Emerald Giants, and these are a later pepper. And there's one there. This is just a tiny one, though, to start out with. They get to be about 6-8 inches long, and really a big sweet bell pepper. And then in the back are the Ajavarskis, and they're another good eating pepper. They're and they're good cooking too. They do turn bright red after a while, and they're a real thick-skinned pepper. So, they're real tasty, and they do have a nice thick skin on them. You can see the emerald giants are starting, and these Adjavarskis are, really have quite a few of the larger ones sitting on the plants already. Then the last bin down on the corner are the Peperone de Cuno, and these are one of our favorite stuffing peppers. It's a very thick walled. They're smaller peppers. They're round, and they're a real old Italian variety. And they, like I said, they're really great for freezing, and they're great for stuffing in the middle of the winter and stuff. They will get a little bit larger than this, but nothing really giant. And the wall on them is very thick, and they're great. They hold up really good for stuffing, and you can see these plants too are just starting to get filled up, and they will turn bright red when they're ripe too. So you can eat them at any stage, and they have about the same flavor. Then I'm going to head over to mixed in some of the other beds here. This is there are 4 of my Anaheims mixed in over here, and these are just starting. Just starting now, and you see they've got some small peppers on them, but these plants eventually they're a little bit later pepper, and the plants will wind up being about 6 feet tall by the time they're full grown, and be a lot of peppers on them. And there's some little ones that went bad on the bottom with the crazy weather, but so these these are still far behind, but we freeze them for chili. And then there's some mini bells over here snuck in under these pole beans, and these are just basically a real tiny bell pepper. That's right there is about as big as they get. They turn bright colors, bright red and yellow, and they're a pain in the neck to get all the seeds out of. But they're a tasty little pepper, and good if you want to stuff them with like tuna salad or something like that. And you can see those plants just get hundreds of peppers on each plant. So there's a bin of peppers for dinner tonight, and I'm going to take some and actually lacto-ferment them. And I thought I'd show you around the garden a little bit, and you can see the strawberry popcorn's about 5 feet tall now. These couple of zucchini plants, we've been eating zucchinis for a couple of weeks now, and they've been really enjoyable. Tomatoes, they do look a little bit better. They're starting to pick up a little bit. The leaves aren't so curly anymore on some of them, but some of them still show damage. And like some of them, like these, you can see they've got that weird growth on the bottom of them. So I'm not sure if there could have been something wrong with the compost. I'm still gonna, wait and see. And these are some of the Bonnie's Best that are right next to them, and there's nothing wrong with them. So I'm not really sure exactly what's going on here. And these little guys here are supposed to have a round bottom on them. You can see they've got a point on them also. So it just seems that, some of them mixed in here. I don't know if it could have been seeds or it could be something in the compost. But basically, we're still a couple weeks off from any larger tomatoes. And there's our first Paul Robeson getting ready there. And, they're just loaded. It'll be a week or two until we, really can start getting tomato sandwiches out of these things. And the potatoes, the plants got about 2.5 feet tall, and now they're starting to fall down and look like they may be about done. And the first batch of shallots I put in, you can see they're all dying back, and they're ready to be picked this week. Probably I'll be, harvesting them. And these soyo Japanese cucumbers are just starting to come in. Cilantro and basil there is, filling in pretty good. And these are those beans that were chewed back down to the ground by the deer. And actually, they've grown back. I'm pretty amazed. And they're loaded with little flowers now. So, another week or two, we should start having some fresh green beans out of this batch. And there's about the biggest one I could find now. And I eat that right after videoing it. And the little cantaloupes here, no cantaloupes yet, but the plants are looking real healthy. Cucumber beetles are out now, so everything's kind of covered with them. And there's also some late carrots. And go over and look at the eggplants. They've been really chewed up by the little flea beetles. They've done a number on the leaves, but they're, the eggplants, these are the Rosa Biancas, and they're really probably about 40 eggplants that'll be ready in a week or two in this bin here. So even with all the bug damage here, it looks like we're still not going to have a problem. And the I think these are little fingers. They're growing with no leaves left on the plants, basically. So I did get something called Captain's Jacks that I'm going to be trying next on them. And then soaking those okra seeds really did help. All the okra germinated. I actually pulled out a lot of it, and you can see they're starting to get some flowers on them. And those are those soybeans that were chewed back to the ground. I don't know what's going to happen with them. And beets are coming back, and we've been eating the little, like, $half size ones, just thinning them and cooking them up, and they're super sweet. And carrots all grew back, the tops, and this is the other batch of shallots here. And they're not far behind the other ones. Another couple weeks, they'll be ready to harvest, too. And the marigolds are just spectacular this year also. So I'm going to take my little container of peppers, and I'm going to start by, just washing some up for tonight. And the rest I'm going to cut up tomorrow and put them in a mason jar and start lacto-fermenting them, because I really like the flavor. And then we have a nice big one of these super sweet onions that we picked up. Too bad my onions all died, otherwise, we've eaten them too. And I always have to throw a zucchini on the grill when you're lighting it up. So my wife's getting the skewers together for the peppers and onions tonight, sausage, and this is how she cuts the onions up. She likes to just go around and, take nice big onions and just cut out pieces that are all about the same size to go on the skewer. And, that's the way she does it. And same thing, she'll pick out a couple different peppers and just, cut up into big enough pieces to put on the skewer without having them split all open. And when you're cleaning the peppers up, you want to make sure that you take that little rib out of there that's in there too, because that can affect the flavor of them a little bit. So now she's got her, her pile of peppers and pile of onions going together there, and it's time to start putting them on the skewers. And what we like to do is the sausage come in a pack of 5, and so we usually do 5 skewers, one for each sandwich. And here you can see she mixes up a piece of onion and then a different type piece of pepper following up, and so on until she gets just about enough on there for a sandwich. And it's time to go outside and get the charcoal lit up for the grill. And I really like using this. If you can't afford the hardwood chunk, this Kingsford Hardwood Professional Series is the best charcoal to use, I find. I used to use the blue stuff from Home Depot, but it just burns so fast, and it's got all kinds of chemicals in it that leave taste in the food. Where this stuff is just pure, made from pure hardwood, and I think it's worth spending a couple extra dollars for it. So what I'm going to do is just fill the chimney up about 3/4 of the way full and stuff a couple pieces of newspaper under the bottom of it and just light that. And, go away for about 20 minutes, come back, and the coals will be ready to throw in the grill. I don't believe in using any of that starter fluid or any of that stuff. I just don't even like having that around. So in the meantime, my wife's got all the skewers put together, and time to just get them ready for the grill. And all that involves is a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Goes on tries to get it on each and every piece there. And then we've got a couple of the zucchinis that we just cut into little rounds there to throw on the grill also. I just love the zucchini grilled. Same thing, a little bit of olive oil on there. And then every vegetable that goes on the grill, I use this crazy salt on. I buy this stuff by the case. It's my favorite for grilling in the summer. I put it on vegetables. I put it on steaks. I put it on burgers, anything. And I really like the flavor of it. So we're just going to shake a little bit of that on, one side there, and then go back and flip everything over and do the same thing all over again. Oil and a little bit of seasoning. So you see it doesn't really take long to, get this stuff prepared once you pick it. And now it's, I'm just waiting for the charcoal to get ready. And these are the sausage that we use. We get them at Costco, and they are the best sausage for grilling. We've tried all kinds of different sausage, and we have not found one that's, anywhere near as good on the grill. So, I highly recommend these if you have a Costco near you. And the charcoals are just about ready there, so I'm going to start heating the grill up. And yes, this grill has never been cleaned. I've been using it for about 16 years now, and I just keep using it and just wipe it down and wipe the grate off a little bit every time, and it's ready to go. I figure the thing hits like 400 degrees in there, and that's hot enough to kill anything that might be growing in there. So I still use the old wire brush, and then I just take a t-shirt to wipe it down and make sure there's no metal in it. And then it's time to just throw the vegetables on, and I always put the veggies on first because they take longer than the sausage to cook. So I'll just throw everything on the grill here now, and got a pretty hot grill right now, so just line it up there and cover it up and give it 5 minutes, and then go back out and just start moving things around and turning things. And you can see the veggies are starting to get a little burned on the edges and stuff. And this is another 5 minutes, so this is 10 minutes out, and I'm just going to move things around now. And the veggies are are good enough cooked now that I can start with the sausage. So I'm just going to move things around a little bit to the hotter spot for there, and then throw the sausage on back there and let them just start cooking. And I do like to, let my vegetables, I like them so that they're all burned around the edges. I don't know. Some people may not like them that way, but that's how I really enjoy them. So I'll just give that 10 minutes now. Go back and just move things around again, because the grill's got hot spots and cooler spots on it. You can see they're just starting to cook nicely on the one side there, and veggies are really starting to get a little bit browned up and nice and soft there. So I'm just gonna try to move things around and put the sausage right out in the hot spot now. And it's unbelievable how good this smells like now. It smells like you're at the fair. I wish you could, just there was smell-o-vision or something. And the same thing, a couple of minutes later, I'm going to just flip everything over, move it around a little bit, and, try to make sure nothing's getting too burned or anything like that. And I could tell it's getting real close to being done now. It doesn't take long to cook these with a good hot grill. A couple minutes later, the only way to tell if sausages are really done is to use a thermometer, and they have to be at least 160. And I usually get them a little bit hotter. I'm never right on the number, but you can see these are all done and ready to come off in just a couple of minutes. So I'm going to throw my bun on there and brown that up a little bit while I'm emptying the grill. And the good thing about this charcoal is I'll shut the grill down now, and this charcoal will be usable. I'll be able to throw it in, light it up again, and get another cooking out of the same batch of coals. They won't be all burned away like those other cheaper briquettes do. So you can see everything. This is really super easy to do. No real dirty pots or pans or anything, and it's a great meal too. And I get people all the time asking me, what do you do with all the veggies that you grow? And I mean, this is basically it. We eat what we can, and we'll cook some, we'll grill some, we'll can some, and we'll dehydrate some, and we'll also ferment some. So, somehow it all gets used up in the end. And bun there is just about done, and I'm ready to go in and make a couple sandwiches out of this. So I like mine on a roll, and I just split the sausage open, and these farmhouse rolls are really good. And zucchini and a little bit of cottage cheese, and my wife likes them on a wrap. She doesn't like the roll. These are the rolls that I like to use. These little Pepperidge Farm ones, and then a nice Haagen-Dazs ice cream double chocolate bar for dessert. That really tops it all off, just like going to the fair. So we did get lucky, and my rain dance worked. We did get some rain this week, and just thought I'd share with you going out and looking at the peppers and picking them and bringing them in and cooking them and eating them. And, that's a good thing about having a garden. All you do, you just run out, you grab what you want for dinner, you cook it up, and within an hour you're eating your fresh veggies, and really they do have a great flavor that you just can't get anywhere else. Hopefully everyone's garden is doing well this year. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.